Alright, so we left off on the battery monitor. We had just gotten it hooked up. Now we're going to go through a little bit of the setup for the battery monitor. So when you first come into it, it's going to look something like this. Everything's going to be zeroed out. You can see we have 14.5 volts, but everything else, once again, is zeroed out. So if you hold the up arrow key for approximately 3 seconds, making sure that you have a full battery, you should sync it, alright, where it says 100 amp hours and 100%. Now if you remember, I have a 200 amp hour battery, so we're going to go in and we're going to make some changes to this. Alright, so to do that, we're going to go in, we're going to hit the OK button for approximately 3 seconds. And this is where you're going to make some of your changes. Alright, so the cap is going to be 200 amp hours. So to enter that, we're going to hit OK. You can see the little flashing arrow next to it. And that should take us into that so we can change the numbers. So if the number's what you want, then go ahead and hit the OK button. Alright. Now this I want to change to 200. So I'm going to hit the up arrow key once and then hit OK. And then since it's where I want it to back out of that, we just hit the 2 arrows going to the left, and that backs us out and we have a blinking arrow off to the right again. Alright, same thing if you want to set your high and your low. You just hit your down arrow to move the arrow to that line, hit the OK button to enter it. Alright, we'll set this to 15.2. So since the middle one's blinking, we'll hit the up arrow once. That gives us the 1. We'll hit OK. And then we'll change this one to 5 by hitting the up arrow 5 times. Hitting OK. And 0.2. And of course hitting OK, and then we can back out of that by hitting the top 2 arrows going to the left, and then go to the next one for our low. So we want that, we don't want it to get lower than, we'll say 11.2, so we'll enter that by hitting OK. Hit the up arrow to change that to 1, hit OK. Change the up arrow, or hit the up arrow to change that to 1, hit OK, and then hit the up arrow twice to go to 0.2. And then once we have that set, we can back out by hitting the 2 arrows at the top, and we'll leave the alarm as is for now. And then to back to our main screen, we just hit the basically 2 arrows at the top. Alright, now if you remember, it was 100% and 100 amp hours. We changed that to 200 amp hours. That's why it's showing 50%. So we need to resync this. So I'm going to hit the up arrow for approximately 3 seconds. And as you can see, now we have a 200 amp hour battery at 100%. Alright, so that's pretty much the setup of this. I'll get back into it and we'll put some loads on it and things like that, and show you a little bit more in some future videos. Thanks for watching.